Good morning. It is Monday, March 17th. Here's what we're working on. The Special Investigations Unit has been called in after a police-involved shooting in central Hamilton.
Mark Carney is kicking off his first full week as Prime Minister with a trip to Europe.
And believe again, yes, Ted Lasso is coming back for a fourth season. And happy St. Patrick's Day to you. We're going to be seeing maybe a lot more green in the grass, I noticed, with the rain yesterday, Brian.
Oh, yeah. Things are starting to green up, and the little buds are starting to shoot in some areas.
Seeing some flowers.
Oh, yeah. So green as in the clothes today,
yes.
as you can see.
We all got the memo.
So, things are starting to green up. We got to 16 degrees yesterday.
It was very nice.
Wow. We did have wind to about 70 kilometers an hour with those thunderstorms that went through. But today, actually, we're getting some light snow flurry activity this morning. Oh, I hate saying that. I know. Boo, Louis is going blue. So we will see some sunshine for the day. The skies will start to clear, but we'll hit 7 degrees, which is still above seasonal for this time of year, but a lot cooler than it was yesterday. So sun and 7 today, milder tomorrow, and we'll have more sun. And we'll talk about that coming up. Lots to talk about in traffic this morning. We'll show you our camera. That's the 403 in Waterdown Road. Nothing to see there at the moment, so things are moving nicely. Go to some MTO traffic cameras. Nothing to see generally on our MTO traffic cameras. Everything's doing fine. Centennial Parkway all the way through the top of the Skyway Bridge to Burloak. We've got a problem. Grays Road is closed from Arvin to Burford for a police investigation. Jackson Street East closed from Walnut to Ferguson starting today for a couple of days. And the South Service Road is closed from 50 Road to Kelson Avenue for about 5 months starting today as well. Never mind, of course, for Jeffrey, the Jefferson Salamander that King Road has to be closed for as well this time of year. So lots going on the roads. We'll keep you posted. We'll look at the forecast in detail coming up. Right now, the news.
Okay, thanks very much, Brian. Well, the Special Investigations Unit is on scene in central Hamilton this morning after a police-involved shooting yesterday afternoon following a stabbing. Sean Cowan is at Hunter and Spring Street, which is not too far from Wellington, with more.
That's right, Annette, and police still have a pretty big scene taped off here. There are about 4 houses on each side right here on Spring Street. I am told that residents can go inside of their house. It's just closed for anybody else walking by, as well as traffic. So this all happened yesterday afternoon around 4 o'clock. Just before 4 o'clock, when police were responding to a 911 call at a home at the corner of Hunter Street East and Spring Street for an assault call. At that time, Hamilton police were responding to a stabbing where one man had died. When officers arrived on scene and entered an apartment unit inside one of the homes, they located a man armed with an edged weapon. The SIU says an interaction took place and at least one officer discharged their firearm. The man was struck. He was transported to the hospital for treatment. Now, we did speak with Hamilton police yesterday afternoon.
We responded to a stabbing incident here at Hunter and Spring. When police arrived on scene, there was a victim outside we had to deal with. We officers responded inside the house and deal with the person that was responsible for the incident. At this point, our homicide team's taken over and investigating the death of the person that was taken to the hospital and has passed away. And the SIU has invoked their mandate in terms of our officers' involvement with this incident.
And still no word from the SIU this morning on how that man is doing that was shot by police yesterday afternoon and taken to the hospital. I'll contact Hamilton Police as well as the SIU this morning for any updates. But for now, Louis, I will send it back inside to you.
All right, thank you, Sean. One man is in critical condition after jumping from the window of a burning house in central Hamilton.
Fire! There's a fire! You're starting to disturb me right now! There's a fire outside!
The fire happened just before 2 yesterday morning on Oak Avenue between Barton and Birch Streets. Neighbors say squatters had been living in the Oak Avenue house for several months and knew it was only a matter of time until something like this happened.
There was, I believe, 17 complaints on the house from neighbors in here in the neighborhood, and the city would send somebody here. The fire department's been here many times, and nothing had ever been done.
There was one other person in the house at the time who managed to evacuate. They were taken to hospital with minor injuries. A dog was also rescued. The Ontario Fire Marshal's office is investigating the cause of the fire, and damage is estimated to exceed $750,000.
Pedestrian was airlifted to hospital after being hit by a vehicle in Welland. A CHCH freelancer says it happened just before 11:30 last night at East Main Street and McAlpine Avenue in Welland. The pedestrian reportedly suffered a serious head injury. We have reached out to Niagara Regional Police for more information.
Popular donut spot in Hamilton is shutting down. Donut Monster is set to close next month.
We've sort of come to the end of the road of the energy that we have, both financially, both emotionally.
The owners opened their shop on Locke Street South 7 years ago after starting out selling their baked goods to specialty shops and cafes. They made the announcement to close Sunday, April 20th, to give their more than 20 employees time to find new work and for customers to come in and say goodbye.
Canada's oldest company, Hudson's Bay, is preparing to liquidate. Reps will be in court today as the company advances its creditor protection case. If it doesn't get last-minute funding, it is prepared to wind down operations. 9,300 jobs across the country are at stake, including staff at stores in Hamilton, Burlington, Oakville, and St. Catharines. Hudson's Bay is expected to ask permission from court to liquidate some of its 80 stores. In documents filed with the Ontario Superior Court, Hudson's Bay says it plans to sell off assets over the coming months, pending court approval, to repay obligations under the limited financing it has secured. Mark Carney is in France this morning for his first international trip as Canada's Prime Minister. He's meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron. Carney is also traveling to London, where he will meet with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer and have a private meeting with King Charles before he heads to Iqaluit on his return to Canada. His office says the trip is aimed at strengthening Canada's relationship with its closest allies and reaffirming its commitment to Arctic security. Carney was sworn in as Canada's Prime Minister on Friday. Now, speaking with Fox News, Canada's ambassador to the United States says Prime Minister Carney is interested in starting a conversation with U.S. President Donald Trump.
I think that what we need to be doing, and I know that Prime Minister Carney wants to do, is to establish, a serious and professional conversation around the president's goals with respect to trade. The new Prime Minister respects what President Trump's trying to do. He's trying to supercharge the U.S. economy for American people, and that's what he's also trying to do for Canada.
As Ambassador Kirsten Hillman, she sidestepped a question about if there's anything Canada can do to avoid the reciprocal tariffs that Trump is set to impose on other countries. Trump has repeatedly stated his goal with the tariffs are to soften up Canada for annexation. And law enforcement agencies are stepping up efforts to boost security along the Canada-U.S. border as part of our federal government's $1.3 billion plan to respond to Donald Trump's tariffs. The Mounties have already increased resources across the country, including more border patrols by officers, drones, and helicopters. They say the goal is to detect and disrupt the smuggling of fentanyl and other illegal drugs and migrants in and out of Canada. About 200 police officers are also stepping up border patrols in Ontario, while Alberta and Manitoba have announced their own security measures.
All right, time to take a look at sports, and let's start with some basketball, where Hamilton's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and his OKC Thunder were taking on the Milwaukee Bucks in a rematch of this year's NBA Cup Finals.
In the hands of SGA, 6 early points for the NBA's leading scorer. The lob to Hartenstein, just got it over the rim. Antetokounmpo finds Kuzma inside, blocked by SGA. Under 5 minutes to go. Gilgeous-Alexander, one-hand fadeaway, filthy.
SGA doing it all last night, finishing with 31 points to along with 8 assists as the Thunder defeated the Bucks 121-105 in Milwaukee last night. The former Sir Allan McNabb Lion continues to make his case for his first MVP award, averaging 33 points a game this season.
Now you have to be ready because they may foul you anyway,
so you don't get the three-point opportunity, but you got to be ready to go. Wide open. Wow.
And there's a block. High ball. How about that?
Orlando Robinson's potential game-tying shot at the buzzer was blocked by Matisse Thybulle as the Raptors had their modest three-game winning streak snapped in a 105-102 loss in Portland last night. Raps are right back in action tonight when they visit the Suns in Phoenix.
That close to the win, that close to just the second birdie of the day here. Oh, wow. We've seen some wild stuff.
J.J. Spaun left that putt a few inches short but would have to settle for par to set up a Monday morning playoff with Rory McIlroy in the Players' Championship. That putt could have won it. Instead, they will play a 3-hole aggregate playoff for the $4.5 million prize. That begins at 9 a.m. this morning. Meanwhile, Listowel's Corey Connors finished in a three-way tie for 6th at 9 under, taking home a cool $843,000 for his efforts. Let's check in on baseball, where 1 week today, the Blue Jays will be packing up at spring training. Yesterday, they were in action taking on the Braves in Dunedin.
3-2 again. Fastball hit out to left field. Curling back, Capel. Warning track wall. It's gone. First home run in a Blue Jay uniform for Andres Jimenez. It was a 10.
New offseason acquisition Andres Jimenez hit his first home run of the spring as part of a 3-run inning as the Blue Jays beat Atlanta 6-2 as they get set to finish off their final week of the preseason. Meanwhile, potential opening day starter Jose Barrios turning in one of his best performances of the spring. He went 6 strong innings, allowing no runs on just 4 hits while striking out 7.
Out there with McDavid and Yanmar. Here's McDavid to the net. Scores! Beats Shesterkin glove side, and Edmonton does get separation.
And Connor McDavid's 25th goal of the season gave the Oilers the insurance they needed as they won for the 5th time in the last 6 games with a 3-1 victory in New York. The win leapfrogs the Oilers over the Kings for 2nd place in the Pacific Division, 4 points back of the Golden Knights.
Okay, coming up on 13 minutes after 6 o'clock, the 17th of March, St. Patrick's Day, of course, another Monday. And I can remember having spring break week when I was in school, and it went by like that. And I think it did for most everybody's getting back to it today. So you're going to notice that the roads are getting back to normal from the light volume that we had last week. But we have no collisions, no volume at all right now. Looks good here at the 403 and Waterdown Road, so nothing to look at there. Let's go into St. Catharines, and we'll check the Garden City Skyway first off here. It looks good across the top. That's the east camera. Centennial Parkway still fine. Fairview Street. I'm just flipping through some cameras just to give you an idea that all the way around the Horseshoe, the Ford plant, right straight through to Cothra, we're looking fine so far today. No collisions and no volume. Check our temperature at the moment, just into the minus column. We're sitting at -1 right now. That wind is coming down just a little bit. It was stronger last hour, now west at 13, and makes it feel like -6. So it's a chilly start to our morning, and we do have a little bit of light flurry activity. Oh yes, here we are, back to those big yellow things on the roads today. Mainly sunny skies and mild for school today. Should hit about 7. When I say mild, I know it's not as mild as it was yesterday at 16, but that's above seasonal for this time of year. We had that cold front go through yesterday, triggered off the thunderstorms, the heavy downpours, and the rain. We've got a low going bias to the north that really isn't going to bother us. Actually, the skies are going to clear as the day goes on. And another warm front, that's going to push our temperatures up toward midweek. But today, temperatures 4 for Niagara, 7 degrees to 6 degrees for the rest of the Horseshoe. We're looking at lovely, well, I know it's cloudy with some light snow right now, but the skies will clear as the morning goes on. Tonight, clear skies and even chillier, -2 and 3 for Niagara. -2 to 4 for the remainder of the horseshoe. A little bit better for Toronto, but yeah, again, clear sky. Wind chills tonight about -8, so it'll be cold. Tomorrow we'll climb better, 8 and 12 for Niagara, 11 and 10. At least we'll be in double digits. Toronto a little cooler at 7 degrees, but lovely sun for the day tomorrow. So out the door, 17th morning of, cloudy, light snow. He's dancing on your lawn out there. -1 is our temperature right now. Long range coming up. Annette, Louis.
Well, that's just great. Before we dance into the commercial break, we are going to say good morning afterwards with Emily for a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat. And economists say inflation is probably going to go up again. The details coming up. 6/17 on this March 17th, we say good morning to Emily.
Hi, good morning. Well, coming up in Chit Chat, we're going to be taking a look at Oasis's upcoming concert film, which is set to hit theaters this summer. Takes me back to my high school days. Honestly, like the memories of Oasis.
So, okay, I guess we'll find out in Chit Chat. Because is it old Oasis with an older concert, right? Because they haven't.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything new for a while.
My generation Oasis.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, and Apple's TV hit comedy drama. All we had to do was believe. Ted Lasso is returning for a surprise fourth season.
Yeah.
And later on this morning, Disney has dropped a new trailer for A Freakier Friday, starring Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Okay.
All right, looking forward to that. We'll see you in a bit.
Okay, let's see how the dollar is doing this morning. So it's actually up 11 basis points in overseas trading at 69.61 cents U.S. Gold is down $5.20. Crude oil is up 60 cents to $67.78 a barrel. Midday trading in Europe, markets are up just ever so slightly in Frankfurt, London, and Paris.
Over in Asia, markets were up across the board in Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. And in North American markets, the TSX gained 350 points on Friday. The Dow was up 674, and the NASDAQ closed 451 points higher. U.S. stock futures are down in pre-market trading this morning.
Canada's latest inflation numbers are due out tomorrow. Economists expect prices rose at a faster pace in February. They predict the annual inflation rate increased to 2.1% last month, up from 1.9% in January. That's because the Canadian government's 2-month tax break ended in the middle of the month. Also on Friday, StatsCan will release its retail figures for January. These numbers could show early indications of trade-related stress in consumer spending.
An Ontario court has approved the sale of 2 plant-based milk facilities linked to a deadly listeria outbreak. Canadian company Joriki is selling its facilities in Delta, BC and Toronto to Happy Planet Foods and Top Shelf Food and Beverage. The company is also liquidating its plant in Pickering, where the outbreak occurred. Now, Joriki ceased business operations and laid off almost all of its approximately 565 employees at the end of last year.
Canadians are joining in on a series of global Tesla takedown protests across the U.S. and parts of Europe. They're also happening. U.S. President Donald Trump has in the last few weeks slapped steep tariffs on Canadian goods, triggering the ongoing trade war, and he's also repeatedly threatened Canada with annexation. But protesters say the real target here is Tesla's CEO Elon Musk's interference in U.S. politics and his role in advising Trump, saying that that's what prompted them to take action.
Fast fashion retailer Forever 21 is closer to shutting down in the U.S. after filing for bankruptcy protection for the second time in 6 years. The company first filed for bankruptcy protection in 2019, but a group of investors purchased it through a joint venture. A spokesperson says the company has been unable to find a sustainable path forward due to competition from foreign fast fashion companies, rising costs, and economic challenges. Forever 21's shops and e-commerce platforms outside of the U.S. are operated by other license holders and will not be affected by bankruptcy protection filing.
And that includes here in Canada. Okay, taking a break right now. Brian's going to be back with traffic and your 7-day forecast. It includes spring.
Let's check some MTO traffic cameras. 6:24 on this Monday morning. If you look closely at this particular camera, you can see the snow flurries coming down in that light standard. Oh, well. Okay, nothing going on in traffic here this morning at the Garden City Skyway. Burlington Skyway still looks good. Here's Burl Oak towards us, Toronto-bound lanes. Now Toronto-bound lanes coming towards us here at Sheridan. We'll dip into the 403-407 split. Not a lot happening on the roads this morning. Let's go to our temperatures right now. And there's nothing like an early walk on a Saturday morning to catch that Saturday morning sunrise. Thank you, Annette, for this shot. How nice is that? She was out on Van Wagner's Beach on Saturday morning catching the sunrise. Look at that. Lovely shot. Thank you. -1 in Hamilton right now and Toronto. -2 for Mississauga. +1 into Grimsby. All right, what are seasonals this time of year? 5 for the daytime high. -4 for the overnight low. Those are our sun times and records for today. And yes, we are going to see sun today. I mean, we'll lose that cloud cover with the flurries. We'll see some sun, -1 for the first bell, and 7 and sunshine for after school. So the sky will become cloudy, has become cloudy this morning, and will become sunny as the day progresses for St. Patrick's Day at a 7-degree high, so above seasonal. -4 tonight, wind chill -8. Tomorrow, 11 and sun, and 13, but cloudy skies move in on Wednesday. And then spring arrives very early in the morning on Thursday. We'll get some showers. It'll be cooler. 4 and 5 for Friday and Saturday, and 6 degrees on Sunday with a bit of showers. That's your forecast. Annette, Louie.
All right, thank you, Brian. A SpaceX capsule has arrived at the International Space Station, delivering the replacements for 2 NASA's stuck astronauts.
So 4 astronauts are going to learn the ropes from Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams before they finally head back to Earth tomorrow night. Wilmore and Williams initially expected to return after just a few days in space, but they've been up there since last June. Problems with Boeing's Starliner that brought them up there meant that their return was delayed. They are coming back with another NASA astronaut and a Russian cosmonaut on a SpaceX capsule.
So these people were politicized heavily, right? Because that Boeing Starliner couldn't make its way back. They didn't feel comfortable sending it back with humans. And then Musk kept saying, well, I'm going to send a SpaceX capsule. But NASA was like, well, do it when you're regularly supposed to. So I know that this got heavily politicized, but after a few days, I'm sure they'll be happy to be. Few months, I'm sure they'll be happy to be back.
Several months. Okay, we're not going to be back in that long. We'll be back right after this break.